My name's Len Cook. I moved to the village in 1972. Within 2 weeks of moving into the village, I was approached by Ron Chapman to see if I could help with the band. This came about because I worked at a firm called Enots in Lichfield, and there was somebody from every scout group in Lichfield working there, and the word got round I was moving here. I had experience with a scout band in Birmingham, and of course they knew that, and Ron got in touch. The thing was, when I got married, I said no more scouting, that's it, finished. But I got involved. 25 years later, I was still involved. The first parade we did in the village was on a Remembrance Day parade in November 72. We only knew 2 bugle marches, and we played one up one road and one round the next road and so forth, and that's how it went. So that's how I got involved, and
that's excellent. So, I mean, the band isn't going now, is it? But
no.
What do you think it meant to the village, and particularly the young people in the village?
Well, going back to scouting, to be in the band, you had to be a member of the Scout or Guide Association. We started off with Scouts, and I think because before I got here, some of the Scouts had sisters. They wanted to get involved because they were in the Guides, and that's how it evolved. What it meant to the kids was an extra activity. From what I can remember, there was the Boys Brigade at the Methodist Church, the Scouts, there was nothing else. So we meant to the kids they got extra activity.
Right, so it was something for them to do. And I suppose, why did it... No, we'll come to that after. We'll do this question now. I guess, how did the band change over the years, and why did it eventually stop?
Yeah. It didn't change all that much over the years, because it was initially drum, bugle, cymbals, glockenspiel, and that was the format. The tunes changed, obviously. Did pop tunes and into marches and things like that. How it come to an end? I think technology came in. Videos, computers, and again, it probably wasn't cool to be in that type of band. It was a marching band. Nowadays, looking around the country, there aren't so many scout bands as there used to be.
So did it decline because people just didn't want to do it?
Yes, I think that's what it was. And when Ron Chapman retired, they didn't want to, just folded, I suppose, as well.
Right, okay. So tell me some of the events that you played for in the village and around the country or whatever.
We went into National Scout Band Championships. The one that's most memorable is the one at Poole, which I can't remember the date offhand. We came second in our class, young bugle section, novice class, and on the way home, nobody slept on the way home from Poole. It was so, up in the air. We did quite a few competitions. When the band folded, we were still Derbyshire champions. How come? I don't know. We were in that competition. That was it. We got best bugle, drum and bugle band, turnout, various other things. Turnout was a very big thing. A uniform turnout. There were 2 people I remember that did a lot of work on that. Was Julie Elks and Anne Chapman. They sent all the badges on in the right places, so everybody looked the same. Inspections, I remember one at Brown Hills, where the chap doing the inspection pulled all the lads' trouser legs up to see if we'd all got the same colour socks on. It was, inspections were tight, instruments as well. They checked all over them. Inspections and all that was very tight.
Incredible. Yeah. So what sort of events did you play for in the village?
We didn't do much in the village. Just Remembrance Day parades, basically. Because we did lose members by playing in the village, because other children were taking the mickey out of them, and they couldn't take it. It's hard for the kids at 12, 14 probably, and we did lose 2 or 3 on one parade. They said, no, we're not coming anymore because of that.
Oh,
It's jealousy because they couldn't do it, I suppose, in a way.
So, are there any either events or, I know you mentioned the pool one, but any incidents or characters that particularly stand out in your memory, in your mind? Any, if you think of the band, who do you think of in particular as the main people?
Well, Ron Chapman was the bandmaster. We had several leaders at various times. We had one bass drummer. He was a lead. He was a scout leader. He was a policeman. And I remember going to a parade in Lichfield, and some of his colleagues said, "Oh, you only know one tune, bum bum bum." To him, it was quite funny. But there's such a lot over the years. I can't remember it.
No, that's fine.
I remember doing a carnival in Wolverhampton, and loos were very far apart. And I asked the policeman where the nearest one was, and he said, "Well, here's my helmet." But, it's little incidents like that, you remember. But
do you mind if we talk more generally about the village? Because you've been here since the 70s.
72.
72. How has the place changed since you've been here?
It's grown. I do daft things like I got a map out to see how many roads were in the village. I think I remember from off memory, 45 roads in the village, including cul-de-sacs and crofts and things. And I did walk around, and I looked at how many buildings have been built since I moved here. Was that here, was that not? And I worked out there were 316 properties built in 38 years. You don't see it happening. It just infilling and that sort
you
of thing.
moved into what was a new... Did you have your house from new?
No, it was 6 years old when we moved in 72.
Right.
Yeah.
So what has changed in the way of shops? Because we came here in the early 80s, and I wish I'd have looked more, because I can't remember what was here and what wasn't.
Well, coming down the main street, Dickinson's in the canal. Opposite was the paper shop, Paul's, which was Paul's. Then it became, I think, an antique shop. Then it was a fishing tackle shop, and no, it's not just a house. Further down, you've got the post office, the chemist. That's been extended. Where the dentist is, that was I think it was a VG store. And where Paul's News Agents was, which is now Co-op, that was a sort of, I don't know, general store of some sort. Then you had the Co-op. Then there was a fish and chip shop, was a haberdassery. Opposite there, you had Hart's Garage, which is now the hairdressers and the Chinese. Then go further along, you had wines and Barker's, yeah, had Barker's. And further up on the left there was a very good little shop, ironmonger's type of place. You come home, they were still open 8 o'clock at night.
Was it Cowlings?
It probably was Cowlings at the time, but that became an antique shop. I think that's about it. But there's been a lot of changes down the main street. I can remember.
Now it's noticeably more busy in terms of traffic. You must have been here when the traffic came through the main streets.
No,
before the
bypass was open when we moved here. The main A38 was open when I got here.
No, I'm thinking of the 513. Because that didn't open until the 80s, did it?
No.
Do you particularly remember the main street?
Oh, the main street traffic coming through there, yes. On a Monday morning it was terrible. Heavy wagons coming through. You took your life in your own hands. Especially up by Dickinson's, where it was narrow. Canal Bridge. Yeah. And the buses were 1 hour, which they still are. Coming home from work, coming down Fox Lane off the A38, often got held up at night with Tom Mello and his cows coming down there, taking them for milking. Oh, it's thinking back. It's 41 years. Yeah. What has happened? Yeah.
Because what you're obviously involved with the Scouts. How have things changed? I know you've touched on it before. For the young people of the village, do you think, in terms of what they've got to do?
I don't know really, because I'm not involved with anything in the village. I'm involved with other things outside the village as well, but not involved with things in the village as such.
I tell you what you could tell me about is when you used to set up your railway for the school summer fairs.
Oh, the summer fair, yeah.
Take me back to when you first started doing that and what that was all about.
Well, I'm a member of the Burton-on-Trent Model Engineering Society, and we used to do the school fetes, quite a few of them around the area. It used to take about 2 hours to put the track up, and we ran for 2-3 hours at the school fete. We made the school profit, and we made a profit. but the school changed their summer fete to an evening, and it wasn't viable for us to come and set it up, all for them really, in the time they allowed. But we do with the Burton Chair Model Engineers, we do 2-day events, like Shackleton Railway Centre and things like that, because it's easy to put the track up and leave it up for 2 days.
Yeah.
And
so they do it in the evening then, do they?
the school fair now is in the evening. It used to be on Saturday afternoon or something like that.
Yeah.
Christmas fair and the summer fair. Yeah.
I think you've answered all my questions. Is there anything else that I haven't covered that you want to talk about? And anything to do with the village, really, from the time you were here up until the end of the 90s? Is there anything that you can particularly recall, or you want to tell me? I mean, if you haven't, that's absolutely fine.
I can't think of anything. There's a lot that has happened, but recalling it.
Yeah, no, that's